Yep.
Everybody, welcome back to the Spurs 9501 podcast. This is an emergency video we're doing after I think the sad news that Antonio Conte, our great manager, has been fired, which we thought was going to happen. I've got Kam here from Georgia. He's going to pour his heart out. He needs some therapy. So I thought before he does something dangerous to himself, we should get him on the show to make sure he's okay. Kam, how are you feeling after the news?
I'm feeling bemused. Bemused, I think, is the best word.
No, bemused it's just explain. I mean, first of all, give us your thoughts on why it took so long for Daniel Levy to pull the trigger. It's been like nearly 9 days or 8 days since the defeat. Why has it taken him so long to pull the trigger on Conte?
I think he probably was lining up Stellini and making sure he had what he needed to in place before he would do that. But I think it was very clear. I believe that Conte has probably made it clear he wasn't coming back, and they made it clear to him because he had no intention of coming back, did he? He was in Italy. But I think what we really need to think about is 16 months of Conte. 16 months. We were all so happy. Do you remember that time when he signed 16 months ago, how elated everyone was, singing his name, the greatest thing in the world. If Conte can't do it, nobody can do it.
Wow. Now, let me ask you, I want to ask you first, before we go into Conte and his reign, why have they not appointed like Mauricio Pochettino or I'll talk to you about some of the other names. Why have they not appointed a manager so he can spend 10 games, see what the team's like and go big time in preseason? Why? And Stellini is Conte's right-hand man, so it's basically Conte 2.0. So what's the point? Might as well kept Conte.
Well, exactly, except Conte costs, what is it? I mean, for 10 games, 3 months, it probably cost about $3.5 million.
They're going to have to pay him off anyway, Kam, so what's the point? Doesn't matter. They're going to have to pay him off. Yeah. Tell me why. Yeah. Why have they made this decision? I need to know.
I think because this is all about Daniel Levy, isn't it? He attacked him, he attacked the ownership, he attacked the club, and the guy needs to show who's boss. He needs to show everyone who's boss. That's what it's always been about. I mean, like Redknapp said, Spurs are not built to win. Spurs are built to make money for Levy and his cohorts. That's what Spurs are built for.
I've seen a lot of people like Redknapp, Danny Murphy, Darren Ambrose, Jamie Redknapp saying, the ownership needs to change now if they want to move forward. They can't do anything under this ownership. What do you think about that?
It's built to win. It's built to make money.
So it's not really a football club, is it? It's a real estate asset management entertainment company.
Yeah, ENIC. Isn't it E in ENIC Entertainment?
No, it's English National Investment Company or something.
Oh, well, there you go then. Right. Well, they're not very entertaining, so I'm glad it's not entertainment.
Okay, so basically, do you think that part of the deal was that Conte gave his blessing to Stellini to stay till the end of the season? Because Stellini is his right-hand man. Normally, when you fire the manager, the assistant goes, the whole team goes.
Well,
what do you think's happened there?
He wasn't with him at Chelsea. Stellini was with him for
at Inter.
At Inter, but he was with him for a bit at Juventus. Stellini got banned for 2.5 years for match fixing pro, which he took the time off to fight. So, Stellini's got a good bit of a history in the past. They have been together on and off. I'm not sure where the loyalty lies, but I mean, let's face it. If you get to manage a club like the size of Tottenham when you're an assistant coach, right, out of the blue, who's not going to take that chance, regardless of Conte or whatever?
No, I totally agree with you. But does this prove then that they don't really have any faith in Ryan Mason to get us top four? So they need Stellini.
I mean, what Ryan Mason did in the Carabao Cup final, where he completely bottled the team, lost it 1-0 to City without chance to have a cup, kept Bale on the bench, kept some of our players. Such a defensive, such an awful game management. I wouldn't have confidence in him either, to be honest with you.
But to tell you the truth, he was an average. No. He's an average midfielder. Pochettino sold him to Hull. So what makes you think he's going to be a great coach? I don't understand it. He's hardly had any experience. Anyway, we've got Stellini now for the next 10 games. Let's move on to Conte, then we'll talk about what you think our top four choices are.
Whoever, would it really matter?
Doesn't matter, yeah. I mean, we could have had Donald Duck. It doesn't really matter who the manager is. It's the same constraints. So we'll talk about our top four choices later. But let's go back to Conte. Where do you think it all went wrong for him? I mean, we got top four. I mean, we got Richarlison, we got Basuma, we got Foster, we got Perisic, we got Spence. Whether you think they're his signings or not, we did buy people. Where did it all go wrong for him?
It's a really good question because, some people will say he wasn't backed. Other people will say he was backed more than anybody else. I think he got 200 million
Yeah.
pounds spent on players in the last few transfer windows that he was there. Most of those players that he brought in actually got worse. He didn't really. I mean, let's take Gill. Let's take Jed Spence. Let's take Bissouma. Were they ever given a real run in the team? Or Spence definitely wasn't, right? Were the others given a run in the team? No. Richarlison went from being a reasonable player to being bang average at Spurs. And at the end of the day, you've got to put it down to the manager. If he didn't want those players, those players should not have been signed.
I agree 100%. So we can only say that he wanted Richarlison, Bissouma, and Perisic. He didn't want Spence. All right, fair enough. It's a club sign. But just explain to me, how can the club, I know the club can do what they want, but why would they sign a player that the manager doesn't want? Can you explain that to me?
Well, I think that when it comes to players like Spence, Gill, and Saal, the feeling at Edic must be sign them cheap, build them up, and sell them expensive. They're money makers, aren't they? They're younger players, and that's the way to make it.
Okay, fine. So basically,
the way that he makes a team, though, is it? Conte wants winners. He wants to spend a lot of money. He needs a big government backing. I mean, I was reading about it. I mean, who backed Juventus when he was there? Who backed Inter when he was there? Who backed Chelsea? I mean, these are big spenders, you know? And if you don't give him tried and tested players, this is exactly what happens.
So basically, we can look at Spence and Gill and Saar. All these guys are like houses, really, for ENIC. They're sort of dilapidated houses. They'll do them up, furnish them, and all. They'll sell them off later at a profit, really. So it's really the asset model, the real estate model. Buy them cheap, sell them late. So they're not really footballers. But this is where the implosion happened. Conte is the irresistible force meeting the immovable object. So Conte wants ready-made win-now players, but Levy wants to build, assets that he can sell later on, and the two don't match. Is that correct?
That is very correct. Except there's one issue here, isn't there? One big issue that that is one thing that Conte was able to do in the past was he was able to get his fixed and very rigid style of play to get the players that would fit that system. He's never got that at Spurs. No one can understand why in the summer they didn't shore up the defence. What is it? We've got the 6th or 7th leakiest defence. Yeah, we have 3 at the back and 2 defensive midfielders. Makes no sense at all. That's like 7 players. Well, we're leaving the goalkeeper out. We've got 5 at the back and 2 in front of them. That's 7 players defending, and we're leaking goals like no one.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah? But this is another thing that I think Conte should take the blame for. Rather than 60 million on Richarlison, who we don't really need, we could have got a decent centre-back for that money, surely.
Could have got 2, I would argue.
Yeah.
I mean, we ended up having to settle for Clement Longley on a loan because we couldn't do couldn't get anybody else. I find that so hard to believe. I mean, if you look somewhere, I mean, you look at some of the other teams in the league, some of the ones that are lower than us, those that do not score goals, they know how to defend, don't they?
Yep.
Better than Spurs.
And we look at Southampton when they beat Chelsea 1-0. They defended for their lives. They don't have better players than us.
We have 7 players, and none of them know how to play together or defend. And that's got to be down to Conte, isn't it?
Yeah, I think he's got to take the blame for that. I mean, you can't... I was told he's this brilliant manager that can defend, blah, blah, blah. All right, they're not the best players in the world, but they shouldn't be leaking goals like they are. And it should have been him to say, I don't want Richarlison, I want a centre-backs.
Why did he not build as he should have done? Now, we've got Pedro Porro finally came in when he did. And I think he'll be fantastic for the club. And it made Emerson Royal a better player already. But I think that side, he'll be absolutely incredible for the club. He's on loan. Another one.
Yeah. Just deferring expenditure till later in the year when he can.
Kulusevski, if we don't hit top 4, apparently won't even be a Spurs player.
Yeah, I've heard that there's a clause in his contract that it doesn't have to. If we don't hit top 4, there's no mandatory buy clause. Is that correct?
That's right. Yeah.
So he could. What's the chances do you think of him actually saying, "I don't want to stay" and go back to Juventus?
His head will be turned by some bigger clubs.
Yeah.
Where he might get a few more goals and might win something. What would you do?
I wouldn't stay. It depends who the manager's going to be, and I'll talk to you about the manager anyway. But in the end of the day, Conte, I don't think, it's like insanity. You do the same thing, expect a different result. It's never going to change it unless the ownership changes. So I guess it's to be expected. Okay, let's go back now to top 4. 10 matches left. Newcastle 2 points behind, 2 games in hand. Brighton, I don't know how many points. They've got 3 games in hand on us. So if they win their games in hand, they could be 51. Can we, or no, not can we, but will we get top 4 or not?
No.
Why won't we get top 4?
Because we've got a run towards the end of April, which is Manchester United away, Liverpool.
No, home. Man United at home.
Man United at home, Liverpool away, at Newcastle away.
Yeah, and how many points are you going to get through those fixtures?
You're going to win those games?
How many points will we get from those fixtures?
None.
Well, 0.
I think so, yeah.
Then that leaves us only 6 games or 7 games.
I'll tell you why I think so.
Yeah.
We got turned over by Newcastle at home. We're going to beat them away. Look at their away record.
Well, we both beat them away last year. It was a different Newcastle. Yeah.
Liverpool have launched their season on the fact that they came to Spurs and beat us when they were the worst. Anyone could have beaten them at that stage, right?
Yeah.
Man United, how many times have we beaten them at home? They're playing almost as good as they were playing under Ferguson at one time, right? Yeah. When are we going to get anything from there? I don't think there's the spirit or the heart in Tottenham to win those games. And there hasn't been since 2016.
But when you listen to Daniel Levy's statement, very short statement, this guy doesn't talk much. He said to see if we can get top 4, highest position. Apparently, it's Tim Sherwood was on a radio station. He said he doesn't care about cups. He just wants top 4. Because when he does his planning and his budgets, he's factored in top 4. So there's a little part of you hope we don't get top 4 to screw this guy over?
I know I want to see Champions League football, but I just can't see where it's going to come from. I mean, I don't want to screw. It's like that's like wanting to chop
cut your nose to spray. As
you say. I know, but the point is, right? When we were playing our best football, right, in 2016, 17, that era, and a bit later on when we got to the Champions League final, we never beat Liverpool away, did we?
No.
Okay, so when was the last time we beat Liverpool away? I don't even remember.
2013 or something. Yeah. And Luka Modric scored, I think. Yeah.
So we think this team is going to beat Liverpool. Well, I mean, I hope I'm wrong. I want to be wrong.
Liverpool are bad as well.
I want to be wrong on those.
But Liverpool are bad defensively as well, Cam.
Sorry?
Liverpool are bad defensively as well.
Except for when they play Spurs. All those teams will come to life when they play Spurs, right?
Dr. Tottenham.
Go on about that. I mean, we are the kind of team that will beat Man City away or whoever away. And if we do beat Liverpool away, that only means we're going to lose to the other lower teams because that's what we do. We have to lose to someone, right?
Yeah. I mean, if we have got a good run in after that, not a difficult run in. So if we could get maybe 4 points from those 3 games, it could be. What do you think? What's the minimum? What's the minimum number of points we need to still be in the top 4 race?
Is beat us at that game and they're ahead of us because it's a game in hand, right?
Yeah.
And if that game in hand is what's going to kill us. Same goes for Liverpool. Liverpool are what, 4 points, 5 points behind, 6 points behind. It's a game in hand. They'll pass us. So let's say Liverpool and I think we got Brighton away as well.
Yeah, we got Brighton at home.
Well, Brighton at home. And, okay, well, maybe we might get something there. I don't know. But those teams, let's say we lose to Newcastle and Liverpool and they jump ahead of us because they're obviously the games in hand. That leaves us what? 6. 6 would maybe get us into Europa.
Yeah, I don't know. But then Brighton could be ahead of us. But the nightmare scenario is if we finish 7th or below, that's not going to be very encouraging for Nagelsmann or somebody else to come and... Who's going to want to manage
new manager? Who? I mean, everyone goes on about these new managers. Who's going to come here and change this horrific team? Who?
Yeah, I mean, I know it's not a great thing, but it's still a big name and a big club. And if you're out of work, why wouldn't you come and get a few million and just fail like everybody else?
Because you're holding out. And this is why we haven't got a manager, because they're all holding out for the Real Madrid job. They're all holding out for the PSG job. They're all holding out for something else to come good, you know? These jobs that come up regularly. I don't know about the Barcelona job, but there'll be a few other jobs coming up. And they'll think, you know what? Why would I sign up right now when my head's being turned? Pochettino.
Tottenham, out of those 3 jobs, Real Madrid, PSG, Tottenham's at the bottom. So if Nagelsmann goes to PSG, Pochettino goes to Madrid, then who's going to come here? Carlo Ancelotti is going to take the Brazil job. We're going to be left with a De Zerbi or a Thomas Frank or one of these managers.
We're going to be left with Luis Enrique.
Yeah, but I don't.
He won't make it at Spurs. He's not. He's hardly Guardiola, is he?
No, he's not.
So I think I don't. To me, I personally don't really care anymore who the manager is. I think it's meaningless. I think you could be the manager. You'd probably get, you just follow Conte's model, just stick 5 at the back. So the team plays itself. They don't play to anyone's strengths. What strengths they play to? I don't see any manager making any difference to this team. If Conte could, we attack Conte, and I don't really want to attack Conte. And I enjoyed attacking Mourinho because he was an unlikable character, right? But those two managers who won more cups together, Mourinho has won more cups than Tottenham have in their 150-year history, right? And if you add that Conte in on that, won more cups together. If they can't do anything, not even a Carabao Cup, anything at all, right? Who else is going to do it? I'm sorry. I know we can attack Conte by saying he didn't do this, he didn't do that, he could have done this, and Mourinho could have done that. Bottom line is, they'll go on, and Mourinho's already won another trophy at Roma. And we all know Conte's going to win stuff again, isn't he? He is, isn't he?
I think the problem was that it wasn't a good appointment. But Daniel Levy had to do it to save
himself.
It's
not a good club. I turn that on its head and say it's just not a good club.
What's the answer, Cam? Other than is it ownership change the only answer then?
Ownership change and root and branch root out. Look at today. Son apologizes for playing crap to Conte. I'm so sorry for getting you sacked. Did you see that article? Just came out.
No, I haven't seen it.
Came out a few minutes ago. Son's written this long apology to Conte and saying that's probably one of the reasons why you had to go because I didn't do enough. Well, yeah, he is, but Conte. Why did Conte keep putting him in the team? It was that. I know why he put him in the team because everyone behind him was even worse. What's that say about the team?
Dan Juma didn't even get a chance. He's played 7 minutes since he's come. Another club signing.
Yeah, scored a goal.
He did score a goal.
Yeah.
But let me ask you, the other elephant in the room is Harry Kane. Do you think he's going to stay or is he going to go?
This is the best thing that could have ever happened for Kane.
What, Conte going, you mean?
Yeah. What would you do if you were Kane?
I'd go to United straight away. I wouldn't wait.
You wouldn't?
No, I don't care who's going to come in there. As you said, Mourinho's been, Conte's been. Nobody can change this team. He can't change Levy. I would just go to United.
I'm listening to some other shows that these Spurs people that go on about get Nagelsmann now.
So what? He's not going to do anything.
What's he going to do? He's won one title with Bayern Munich. You could have won a title.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I could have bloody won a title with Bayern Munich, and even now he's got him in second place. Same goes for Pochettino. He won a title with PSG, and then he couldn't win one. He couldn't win it again. That is like that's kindergarten stuff, isn't it?
Pochettino dropped Sanchez, Dyer, and Davies, and those guys are back in the team. They've outlived him. He's going to come back, and they're still going to be here. It's like Groundhog Day.
Absolutely, it's right. Groundhog Day.
Nagelsmann can't do anything with Dyer, Davies, Sanchez, Sessegnon. He can't do anything with these players. He's not a magician.
What can he do? What has he done apart from beat a crap Spurs team in the Champions League?
Nothing.
And win one title with Bayern Munich, which let's face it.
Pochettino won a title with PSG. It's just like given, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a gift. Yeah, but both of them also got sacked because they were close to not winning a title when the title was already given to them on day one of the season.
Exactly.
They have the title already given.
So the fact is, it doesn't matter. I don't think
Nagelsmann thinks Nagelsmann could make a blind bit of difference.
He won't. He won't. They were saying exactly the same thing about Conte 18 months ago.
No. I've got no confidence in any manager. I frankly don't care who the manager is anymore.
So let me ask you this scenario, right? So basically, Harry Kane leaves in the summer. Yeah. We won't get one of the top managers. We get another run-of-the-mill manager. What's the season like for Tottenham next season?
With run-of-the-mill manager, no change in ownership, no change in direction, no
Harry Kane leaves.
Needed. I would say we'll be back to the good old days, in the 1990s, the early 2000s, 7th, 8th, 9th, where we belong. We always won the second division, didn't we? We were always fifth for years and years. Yeah. Never cracked the top four ever. We always turned up fifth. So basically, we'll be playing for fifth place again.
Do you think that if Harry Kane leaves, do you think that's going to be the tipping point where ENIC may say, "Look, this club's got no future. It's not going to make me a lot of money."
I think we've lost we've lost something very big here, because we know two things are going to happen next season, and that is Liverpool and Chelsea are going to come very, very strong, right? There's only one team. I know this season you'll say that Liverpool and Chelsea have fallen back, and they have, but they've been building, and they've been in the background doing stuff. There's only one team that's completely floundering into nothingness, and that's us. I don't think there is any chance next season we're going to get better.
No. So this is what I'm saying. If Kane leaves and all the other teams strengthen and we're like languishing 6th or 7th and top 4 is never going to happen again for us, do you think that might be the tipping point where Enoch say, look, these guys ain't going to be able to do it. Let's just get rid of it now and let somebody else worry about it?
The only tipping point for them will be the money, isn't it? It's all
that's what I'm saying. So if Harry Kane leaves and then we can't get top 4 and we don't get the Champions League money, is that going to be it for them?
Well, Qataris are buying Man United, right? So that the people who are willing to pay over the odds for stupid money, right, are already getting few and far between.
Yeah, but don't forget, there's quite a few people bidding for Manchester United. So the ones that don't get Man United, maybe they could be interested in Tottenham.
Who's paying over the odds, though, for Man United? Only 2 people are willing to even consider it. Yeah?
Even then, they may not sell, so...
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway.
Well, they don't. But then maybe someone might make us. The only way that Enoch will sell is if they get a stupid offer. Let's say you walked in with a £3 billion offer for Spurs. They'll probably then think it's worth $4 billion.
No, I've heard the figure more close to $4.5 billion. They want.
Yeah, you walked in with a $4.5 billion offer. They'll probably think it's worth $6 billion.
Yeah,
they're never going to be satisfied.
Never going to be. Oh, what about this guy Ram Jarafi? Was put in a $3.5 million bid. Do you remember that a few months ago?
I don't think it was real.
No, I don't. I think it was just planted story by Daniel Levy. Anyway, let's wrap it up now, Cam. I hope that's been a bit of therapy for you. You got a few things off your chest. Yeah. Any other things you want to say before we close?
I think that it'd be really interesting to see how the game will go next week. I think that it'd be interesting to see if Stellini's got some balls and can break that 5-2-3 scenario that we are playing to. We might get somewhere. We might. But will he, or is it just going to be Conte Mark II? And that, I think, is what we've got to look towards. Yeah.
Okay, mate. Well, let's finish it there. Thanks very much. We'll chat again soon. And come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs, to out of oblivion and back to the top 5. Top 5 now. We should call it. We want to be in the top 6.
We want to be in the top 6. Europa League, here we come, buddy. Thank you.
Thanks.